Hello. Hi, everybody. It's me, Travis. And I've moved my camera right here in front of me so I can talk to you. I'll be doing a lot of whoa 3D work. Hi. How is everybody? Hopefully, you're all staying as healthy as possible, doing some isolation, some quarantining, some voluntary isolation to help stop the spread of germs. That's what we've been doing here in and across the country in the McElroy households. Today, I had lots of conversations with BB about why we couldn't go to the museum or Great Wolf Lodge or a lot of places. Can everybody hear me okay? Can you hear me all right? Now I just have to wait for the chat to catch up and tell me they can hear me. May I hope so? Oh wow, look at that chat fly by. Sounds good. Somebody said, okay, great. And so yeah, we were supposed to do Max Fun Drive this week, and we decided to put that on hold because it's a really stressful time, and we didn't want to stress people out more. And Max Fun Drive should be a fun, exciting thing for everyone, and not a time where the economic instability of it all weighs down on them in such a way that they're not able to enjoy the drive. And so we wanted to put it on hold and not stress anybody out. um and we're dealing with some stuff. We're working on the schedule stuff. We're in talks to figure out what we're going to do about the live shows. Trust me, we're thinking about it just as much, if not more so than you. There will be an announcement about that soon. But for right now, I just wanted to do some Q's and A's so that we can spend a little time hanging out with each other and give you some stuff to think about besides being stuck at home. So let's have a little group hangout here. You guys can chat in the chat. I'll chat with you. I got questions ahead of time I'm going to do Boomer Sooner. And so let's A some Q's. A some Q's. I'm also gonna from time to time try to look over at the chat and try to catch stuff. And people are saying that my nails look nice, and you're correct. A very nice person on the boat did them for me. Just got back from the Joko cruise. So first question. This is from Liz. What's the biggest lesson you've learned so far in doing the Adventure Zone graduation? Well, I think that just from DMing, I'll answer it in two ways: DMing and storytelling. DMing is not to put too much planning into assuming that if you open a door, the players will walk through it. And because sometimes you'll open a door and the players will jump through a window or something, and having to deal with that. As far as storytelling goes, it's mostly just patience, because you want to get to everything right at the beginning. And you want to say like, hey, here's everything that's going on. Let me tell you why any of this matters. But like, that is not good storytelling, but it's also very stressful. Jason asks, would Magnus and Aubrey be besties? I think they absolutely would. Mostly because there is so much of my own personality in them. So I can say without a doubt that they have a lot in common. So I cannot imagine that they would not get along well, just because they're both me. Meg asks, how do you like your eggs? It varies, honestly. Mostly fried hard. But I also like them hard boiled and poached and scrambled. Why, you can make eggs all kinds of ways. Meg also want to know if BB likes eggs. Not yet. They haven't really grabbed her just yet, but I think they will. Lan asks, how are you and the sweet wife doing with two babies? I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. The real thing is now is what I did not anticipate is the juxtaposition between having one child that I can say like, hey, just sit here because I need a minute, and another child that's like, I don't care if you need a minute, I'm a baby. And so I've gotten so used to BB being pretty self-sufficient and autonomous. And then there's like now this new little potato that's like, pay attention to me right now or I'm going to scream directly in your face. So I just wasn't really ready for that. Nancy asks, do you plan on playing the new Animal Crossing? Yes. The thing is, oh, I hope this doesn't get me yelled at. It's not really my style of game that I get into. It's just not. I because of well, I don't want to blame it on ADD, but I'll say because of who I am, I need something that's like a really like deep story that I can like get lost in, or else I'm really thinking about how much time I'm spending on it. So like the Animal Crossing games have never been like my style. That said, everyone seems so excited about it that I will. Also, trans rights. Um, let's see. Wayne County Booger Cat asks, I don't think that's your real name. Did people start to freak out on JoCo Cruise as news regarding COVID-19 made it around? Um, Not really. I mean, the cruise line was very careful about like their health screening as people came in, and there were like people stationed all over the place requiring people to do like hand sanitizer and stuff, and like the Joko Cruise staff was really on top of like reminding everybody wash your hands and don't touch your face. We talked about it all the time. People were like elbow bumping instead of like shaking hands. So I would say like everybody was being really careful, but also most of the time we were out of contact. We weren't getting the same flow of information that people on land were getting. So I think that we were only getting kind of snippets of the information. It was definitely a lot to process once we all got back. Like I remember getting off the boat and like just scrolling through like CNN and news stories and stuff. I'm like, oh dang. Uh Evan's cool 2020 tweets asks tips on how to do nails. Your boy needs them. Okay, so quick shortcut is to get like nail wraps, right? There are some that are like like stickers. There are some that are like actual nail polish in wrap form. But if you want to do the polish, lots of thin coats, like 3 thin coats, is way better than 1 thick coat. 1 thick coat takes forever to dry. So do like thin coat, then another thin coat, then another thin coat. Also, it's not gonna be perfect. I mean, practice makes perfect. Start doing it. Other tips. The one of my favorites is learning that like red is like a neutral. You can wear red with a lot of different colors. Um, but yeah, just start doing it is my advice. Courtney asks, you know what? I'm gonna say this, chat, because I've been seeing it over here. I'm going to say LGBTQ plus rights, everybody's rights, rights. I believe in rights. LGBTQIA plus rights, everybody. Um, let's see. Marika asks, what kind of music do you have on repeat during this quarantine? Classic jazz. I know how that makes me I know that makes me sound like kind of a D-bag, but here's the thing, it's good. It's good. Um, I've also mostly been listening to Maureen Johnson's Truly Devious series. It's like a murder mystery set in this like really fancy school in the mountains of Vermont. And it's just amazingly written. It's some of the best murder mysteries I've read since Agatha Christie, and that's saying a lot for me. Also Fallout Boy. Um, yes, like Miles Davis, stuff like that. Nina Simone. Um, let's see. Chloe asks, "What's one song that's always made you feel calm and safe?" There's a song by Gary Jules that it tends to that I have found applies to a lot of different circumstances in my life. I first heard it, I believe, the summer after my mom passed away, and it's called Ghosts. But the chorus is about a man in the midst of a change, and it's just all about life changing. And I have found that like it's applied to. I felt depending on what I'm going through, it appears to apply to my life in whatever circumstance it is, and now it's become the lullaby that I sing to my daughters. So, Nerd Piggy asks, "What's the graduation NPC you've had the most fun fleshing out?" I mean, I have so much fun doing Festo. They're great. They are fun to do, and it's just a fun character to play. I also have a lot of fun doing Rainier. Um, just because I based her off of Rachel Miner, who is an actor and an activist and a friend of mine, and she is lovely and one of my favorite people in the world. And so I basically just based Rainier 100% off of her, and so that has also been very fun. Ames asked, "How is learning makeup, personal trainer, getting better at baking going?" It's going well. Makeup, I've been fiddling a little bit. I'm not quite ready to like do tutorials or whatever. As far as the personal trainer goes, it's good. I had to take time off because I was going to travel a lot this month. And even though that got canceled, I'm still taking time off and doing some working out at home, play along at home. And as far as baking, I'm getting really good at it. Let's see. Bird Internet asks, "A lot of performers can't stand listening to themselves or watching their own performances. But with the editing process of podcasts, you probably have to listen to your own voice a lot. Was it something you struggled with? If so, how do you deal with it?" You know, most of the time it's like kind of a disassociation thing of like when I edit Adventure Zone is the one now because like I put a lot of time into it. Editing a single episode of Adventure Zone will be like 10 to 12 hours, right? And when I'm listening to it, I'm not listening to my own voice. I'm not thinking about my own voice. I'm listening to the words that are being said. I'm listening to the pacing and the levels and all of that stuff. Because if I start to think about my own voice, then I'm distracted from like the editing process. Um I see a question right there that just popped up. Any advice for someone who is depressed, from Cat in a Box? Yes, if you can, talk to someone, be that a licensed therapist, a counselor, there are phone lines you can call, or I mean, if nothing else, someone you trust, someone who is a good listener. I also find for me, and this is where it starts to get into very personal advice, but I do have, I'm diagnosed with having depressive episodes. I'm on Lexapro for anxiety and depression. And I find for me, exercise helps, showering helps, getting dressed in the morning helps because like I work from home, so I could stay in pajamas all day. But like getting dressed helps. I also find that making to-do lists and marking stuff off of them helps. And when I can, of course, not right now, as we are doing healthy isolation, but spending time with people helps. Doing stuff like this helps. Let's see. Other cues. Curry asks, "What's your favorite novel? What's your favorite comic? What's your favorite song?" Okay, so let's do favorite novel, and I might have to stretch it out to novels. Uh, I I think that Murder on the Orient Express is one of the greatest novels ever written. Um, Now I want to look at my bookshelf. Let's see. Um, there's a book series called the Seifert Saga. It's all about this dude who's like 18 at the beginning of it, and due to this like major accident, becomes like the captain of this like basically like star cruiser, like star naval vessel that's like traveling intergalactically, and he is just really hard on himself but very good at his job. And the novel is kind of all about like taking responsibility for your actions and like that kind of thing. I really love it. What's some of what's that what are books I like? I like the Dresden Files. I enjoy them. Let's see, as far as my favorite comic, uh I really like well, lots of things. My own work. I like Booster Gold a lot. Oh, do you mean like stand-up comic? because I think John Mulaney is very funny. I think Cameron Esposito is very funny. Um, yeah, those are probably my two favorite stand-up comics. My favorite song? Um, I think uh Wilson by Fall Out Boy is very good. Uh it's so hard to pick because like I don't have a single favorite song. I just like listening to a lot of music over and over again. Basically a lot of $20 Nosebleed by or Jetpack Blues by Fall Out Boy. One of those two is probably my favorite. Let's see. Krug asks, describe the best day you've ever had. Well, here's the thing. I have a terrible memory. So I can't really remember what happened on what days. I can tell you some of my favorite memories. One of my favorite memories is while my mom was still alive and I was 21, which was a somewhat short period, or I don't know, whenever the movie came out, we went and saw Sideways in theaters together. And as far as I can remember, it's the only time I ever, just like me and my mom, went and saw a movie together, like as adults, and getting to spend that time together and just be like people together was really lovely. Um, I have really enjoyed the last couple of years getting to go on the Joko cruise with my whole family and seeing the kids all run around together. Um, basically, all my memories with my wife and kids are great. But I have been lucky enough to have a lot of really great days and a lot of really great moments. And I'm very grateful and thankful for all of them. Line or Lean asks, how much do you love your friends? I love them so much. Many of my friends have been there for me and are still there for me in ways that I could not even possibly describe. I have several best friends. I believe in best friends as being like a category rather than like a singular spot. So rather than like that person is my best friend, like they are my best friend in that you are the best of friends. You are the best friend someone could ask for. And so like my best friend Bradbury, I came back from college and all my friends in college, like the way that we talked to each other was just really snarky and sarcastic and kind of making fun of each other. And you know what? I think that that's not always the worst thing in the world if everybody is like on the same page and okay with it. The problem is it's always so hard to know for sure that everyone's okay with it. Anyways, I came back to Huntington after that. And so I just kind of continued on being snarky and sarcastic. And one day Bradbury kind of pulled me aside. He was like, hey, just so you know, everyone kind of thinks you're a jerk. And I was like, what? And he's like, he explained, like, I think you think you're being funny. But a lot of people are sometimes hurt by like the jokes that you make. And I felt terrible. I had no idea. And he said, like, I know you're not a jerk. And once people get to know you, they know you're not a jerk, but it just isn't maybe the best first impression. And after that, like I stopped being a jerk. And I credit Bradbury a lot with that. There's like my friend Tybee, who is lovely and wonderful and taught me so much about like emotional intelligence and how to truly be a good friend and not just performatively a good friend. Okay, let's see. Sarah asks, what, if any live shows you've done, changed your perception of the place it was at? Well, I will say that the Salt Lake City live show that we did, I think last year, that crowd was rowdy. It was rowdy, and I was not ready for that. But they were laughing hard and laughing at all the jokes. I was very surprised by that. Let's see. Hazel asks, what hobbies do you find most satisfying? I like anything that is like mechanical feeling. So like I do like wood carving. I recently started like making friendship bracelets again because BB likes them and it gives me like something to do with my hands. It's why I tweeted today that, or maybe yesterday, that I was thinking about getting into knitting because it seems like productive and mechanical. Because I used to work as a carpenter and technician at Cincinnati Shakespeare Company, and I really loved like building and like at the end of the day being able to step back and say like I made this thing. And so any like that's why I like cooking too. It's very mechanical. and like chemistry. And at the end of the day, you're like, this is something I have done. But yeah, that kind of thing. Um, Ren asks, what's your favorite color you've ever painted your nails? So when I started out, I painted them like black or gray or something like that, a really dark blue. And then when I started doing them in different shades of red, I it would just popped so much to me, and I loved it. And so I'm really loving this color right now. The actual color name was Decadence, so it was hard for me not to do it. Um, oh, I also do cross stitching, which I enjoy. Let's see. Essie asks, what's the funniest things Teresa and BB have said recently? Well, I haven't been around BB Teresa that much for the last week, so nothing springs to mind. But for BB, I've got a couple. When I was on the Joko cruise, I did a blackjack tournament, which I won, and I told BB I was going to go and do the tournament and win big money, and she chased after me and said, "Daddy, Daddy, 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 get some small money too, so I can buy small things." And I laughed really, really hard at that. She also today, I was working and I finished work and I said, I'm going to go in the kitchen and start dinner. And she said, no, you have to work so you can make money so I can buy things. I know both of these things I've just said are about money. I promise not all of it's about money. She also asked today, she said, what's a gorilla sound like? Because she was playing with a toy gorilla. And I said, ooh, ooh. And she said, stop that. I don't like that. And I said, that's what a gorilla sounds like. And she said, I don't care. Stop it. It's very funny to me. She's gotten really into the guess what chicken butt joke, but she'll say like different forms of it. So she'll say, like, guess what? And you're like, what? And she's like, chicken poop. And she always says it with this really like dry delivery. And the other day, our friend Robin was over here and BB said, like out of nowhere, we were talking about something else. And BB just very quietly said, Robin, guess what? And Robin said, oh, what? And BB just goes, chicken babies, and went back to whatever she was doing. And it broke me so hard. Like I almost fell out of my chair laughing. Let's see. Do do do. Scott asks, can you talk about what working on Dimension 20 was like? What were your favorite experiences there? Well, so it was when we got there, we didn't really know what we were in for. And I had this like super stressful day before with like my luggage getting lost and like my flight getting wicked delayed and stuff. And so I wasn't like in a super good mood. But as soon as we started, me and Brendan just has this really wonderful energy and was so enthusiastic. And like the quality of the production was so good. And it was just so much fun. I've said a couple times publicly, but like we wouldn't have gone back to Dungeons and Dragons for the Adventure Zone if doing Dimension 20 hadn't been so much fun. So it's really lovely, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. Let's see. Halcyon Hollis asks, what has been your favorite projects to work on, both podcasting wise and anything else you've done lately? Making the My Brother and Me TV show is something I was and continue to be so proud of. BB really likes it, so I've watched a couple episodes of it again recently, and I think it's lovely. And like we just for the upcoming future Max Fun Drive, one of the bonus things we have recorded is a commentary on one of the episodes, and just talking about it again and watching it again. It's just I'm very proud of it. I think it's really good. The Pedals to the Metal graphic novel that's coming out this summer, I'm so proud of it. And I know that that is something everyone will say about every book, but like we put so much thought and care into the story and fixed some storytelling mistakes that we made the first time around. And now we're well on our way working on Crystal Kingdom and like really polishing the story. And I think that we are becoming like really, well, I think so, good writers and great adapters in a way that I never would have thought we were. And so I'm very proud of that. But I'm also, frankly, I'm super proud of Graduation. I know that it is not necessarily everyone else's cup of tea, or not everyone's cup of tea, I should say. But like I'm really happy with the way it's developing, and I think I think it's going some places that people are really going to like. Zach asks, how do you feel expressing yourself so authentically through hair, nails, makeup, clothes, etc.? Do you wish you had done it earlier? Um, well, okay, so I love it. I like myself a lot, and I'm very proud of myself. And um, I will also say this when I started doing it, like painting my nails and dyeing my hair and stuff. I did it for me. I think it looks good, and I think I look good doing it. But then also there are lots of people who will come up to me at like conventions and stuff and tell me how much it means to them that I started doing it, and it that means the world to me. That me being comfortable being myself has helped other people in some way. But the honest truth is that it took me a long time to be comfortable doing it. I wanted to paint my nails for a long, long time before I started doing it. And the reason is like I was worried that it would not be read as authentic, that it would be read as like trying to like for attention, or that I was trying to be someone I wasn't or something. Same with like piercing my ears, which I don't have them in right now, but I normally do. Or like dyeing my hair, all these things. I was afraid that I would do it and people would be like, that's not you. Why are you doing that? Like, stop it. And then I started doing it, and I recognize that I'm privileged in so very many ways. But I found that when I started doing it, mostly I got support from my friends and family, and that allowed me to be more comfortable trying things out and more comfortable doing different things. Um, I recently, like, to one of our Cincinnati Underground Society shows, wore some pretty kick-ass high-heeled, like, witchy shoes, and Teresa helped me pick them out. And I got a lot of great support about it. And like that kind of thing is like I do not, even though I love myself very much, I do not have this like inherent internal wellspring of confidence when it comes to trying new things. In fact, exactly the opposite. The thing that kind of makes me most anxious in life is worrying about like I'm going to do a process and not know what to do, and I'm going to look dumb. And I don't think I'm alone in that feeling. And I am able to feel confident trying something for the first time because of support from people like you guys and my friends and family and that kind of thing. And so it means a lot to me that then people can find support from me doing it for them. I like when that cycle continues. That me doing it makes other people feel safer doing it. Is all I could ask for. Um, Kirsten asks, "What's your favorite part about being a dad?" Um, it has grounded me psychologically in a really great way. I mean, this is the obvious true answers are like my kids are awesome and I like them a lot and I'm glad they exist in the world. Uh, but I think that that's a thing, that is true. But for me, the thing that I have found is like a lot of my anxieties used to be about like my own like preservation and my own like, was I enough? Was I doing enough? All of that stuff. And then when BB was born, it put my own focus outside of myself and entirely on another human being in a way that I had never felt before. This is something I talked with my therapist many times about when it comes to like my recovering narcissistic stuff. Is like I used to be so concerned with myself, and then I met Teresa, and Teresa was like the first person I liked more than myself, that I could put her needs before my own, and that's how I knew I wanted to marry her. And then when BB was born, it became easier and easier for me to put her needs before my own. And so I think being a dad has made me into a better person. And I'm really, really proud of the person that my daughter is growing up to be. And I can't wait to see what kind of person Dot is going to be. Let's see. Amber, what is the best media you've consumed lately? Shows, books, games, podcasts, whatever. Um, I've really been enjoying this podcast called Dakota Ring, where once a month they do episodes where they kind of do a deep dive into some kind of like pop culture thing. Like they did a whole episode about why like killer clowns became a thing, a whole episode about hotel art, an episode about ice cream trucks and like why they exist. And but there's also like one about why Jennifer Aniston became like the cover girl for tabloids, all this stuff. It's really fascinating. Dakota Ring. Um, I see people asking about ADD, ADHD. I promise I will answer in a second. I also, as I said, I've been listening to Maureen Johnson's Truly Devious books, which I highly recommend. And I've been rewatching Lucifer, which I highly recommend. I think that it at first, excuse me while I sip this red wine. It at first, I think before I ever watched it, it seemed to me like it was going to be this like he's a cop, but he's the devil, and then it actually he's like an incredible storytelling thing with like metaphysical stuff and like amazing character growth. Like it's really great. Let's see other stuff. Just been living life. Let's see. So you asked about ADD. So I have ADHD, and I do work from home. The things that helps with that is I have always found that I work better with lots of stimuli. And so like I will listen to a book on tape. A book on tape. How old am I? I'll listen to a radio drama while I, write or something like that. I will put on a movie while I edit, so I have something to look at while I'm listening to something. Sometimes just like light incense or a candle or something, so I'm like smelling something while I'm working, just something to distract the part of my brain that needs to be distracted, so the part that needs to pay attention can pay attention. And I also find that like making a to-do list helps, giving myself permission to get up from work for 10 minutes if I need to. I've basically spent like my whole life building procedures. I want to say coping mechanisms, but like I don't necessarily like that phrase anymore, because I used to think of like ADD as being this like separate thing, this like, brain slug thing. And now it's more of just like, no, it's a personality, like how some people are funny and some people, are born leaders and some people, these kinds of things, right? Where it's just like, yeah, no, I'm someone who is funny and has ADD and likes, comedy, whatever, right? I just don't think of it anymore as like a presence outside of myself, but more of like it's a thing about me. So like where other people have to like develop ways to do things, I have to develop ways to do things too. It's just different things. Um but yeah, so I have just the most important one for me to kind of learn and build procedures around was like listening better and thinking before I spoke. Because it's very easy for me. The reason I can do something like this is it's very easy for me to like talk faster than I think, which is I think one of the reasons I like doing comedy, like my brother and me, and Adventure Zone and stuff, because I'm very confident that I can start talking and there'll be something, to say. But it also means that sometimes I interrupt people and I, could accidentally say something hurtful and all those things. So like I try to work really hard to listen more than I talk, and I'm just not quite good at it yet. So let's see. I got some more questions here. Uh let's see. Mariah asks, what do you love most about each of your brothers? Um I okay, well, it's hard to even nail that down because there's so much. Um, I mean, their senses of humor, obviously. I think that Justin Justin like has insight into a situation that would be funny that I don't know that anybody else would see the humor in. And like that's why like bits like Haunted Doll and Munch Squad and Celebrity Wine, like he will see in them like, I see how this can be a joke. And like Griffin can like develop an idea, say a thing that like seems to come out of nowhere to me and just wrecks me. Plus, Griffin's laugh and Justin's, I think they both have wonderful, like exuberant, like happy laughs that I really enjoy. They're both great dads, which I really appreciate. And like we all three like deal with shit, and like that's the thing is I think I learned a lot about like how to be a good like relationship partner and a good dad from Justin, and like I learned how to be like good listener and kind from Griffin, and so like both of them have just set wonderful examples for me. um Jim asks, what is your favorite episode of the new series of Doctor Who? This whole season has just been great. Tybee and I had a podcast called Run, a Doctor Who fan cast, and we talked a lot about the first season with Jodie Whittaker, and like it seems like all of the concerns that we had were addressed going into this one. The finale I thought was incredible. It had me on the edge of my seat. And the one with the lighthouse, which if you haven't seen, I will say nothing more. I think is my favorite of this season. Megan asks, what are your three favorite musicals? Is it too obvious to say Hamilton? Because Hamilton. And the thing is right, a lot of my answers are going to be super obvious as far as like at the top, right? Because they're good. Hamilton, Les Mis, um, Cats. No, I actually don't have anything against Cats the stage show. Mind you, it knows exactly what it is, and it's a silly, weird romp. Um, I also have a dumb place in my heart. Oh, I'll say my other third favorite is like the remounting the newer You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. I really like that one. But like I really like Bye Bye Birdie and Oklahoma and like the kind of like 50s and say Guys and Dolls, right? Like the ones that I grew up doing in community theater. It's really hard for me not to like feel strongly about. It's yeah, I have seen the SpongeBob musical. It is very good. I put off seeing it forever, and then like 3 weeks ago, Justin was like, "Hey, watch this," and I loved it. I watched it like 3 times in 2 days. Let's see. Shay asks, how do you get comfortable wearing clothes accessories that are typically considered feminine? Well, like I said, support from family, but also just like it also helped to start letting go of the idea of like, well, this is supposed to be for you and this is supposed to be for you. Because like a lot of it is just historically not that way. And culturally not that way is a lot of the things we think of like being traditionally masculine or feminine or whatever, that will only go back like 40 years, 50 years. And when you actually research it, you find stuff like high heels and makeup and nail polish and all this stuff, wigs, right? It has gone back and forth and back and forth. I mean, like for example, there was a long time where wristwatches were considered solely for women. And the idea of like a guy wearing a wristwatch was out of the question because men would carry pocket watches, of course. And it was like, that's such a weird thing to think of now. But like, that's the thing is whenever we think about the idea of like gender norms as a thing has always been, it just isn't. Especially when you talk about things like pink and blue representing feminine and masculine, like that's nothing. That is nothing. That is something that like has only been around for like 70 years. And I know I'm touching my face, but I've been scrubbing the shit out of my hands and face, so I will say it's hard for me not to touch my beard. I'm working on it, I promise. um let's see. Bun Boy asks, what's the best moments of your career? The people you have met, things you have done. I mean, once again, I've gotten so lucky to do really cool things, and a lot of that boils down to Lin-Manuel Miranda is our friend. So we've gotten to meet some cool people. I think meeting Lin is probably right at the top, and not because he's famous and not because he's a genius, though both of those things are true, and especially the genius part. But he's just like really nice and kind, and it's been a joy getting to know him. And he's been so supportive of us and everything. I love that. Working on the Trolls movie was honestly like very exciting and fun and made me really happy. Um, just getting to see people react to when the my brother and me show, launched, and all that stuff. Everything I get to do is fun. Doing live shows, and I will say one of the best moments of my career was the first live show we ever did. Oh, excuse me. Best live show we'd ever did, or first live show we ever did was in touch my face. Sorry. Was in April of 2011, I believe. And we opened for Jordan Jesse Go at Second City in Chicago. And I think we only did like half an hour. And it was like the first time we'd ever done it. And we were just so nervous. And like our dad was in the audience, and the show just went so well. And the three of us just had so much fun doing it together. And it was just a blast. Let's see. Alex asks, how has ADHD affected your adult professional life? And what way? Well, I already talked about how to deal with it. But as far as affected my adult life, I don't know that I could have a different job and still operate the same. Like I work from home and for myself. And if I didn't, and I haven't always, I've had lots of other jobs, and know, I don't know like what else I could do. I think if I didn't have this job, I'd have to do something where I was like doing field work, or I don't know, having, I don't know, building a rocket to space. Like I don't know. Let's see. What are some and Peaches and Dreams asks, what's your favorite cult classic movie? Oh boy, do you mean like good movie or bad movie? Because bad movie, man, I love The Apple. The Apple is such a bad fun movie, and I love it so much. And The Room, does The Room count? Because I love The Room. Okay, that's all my printed questions. Let's do some more questions from the chat. What do you want to know? Let's see. What was your favorite part of doing Tiny Heist? Um, the race as we like raced down the sleeping person, that was bonkers, and I loved it. What's my favorite? Touch my face. I need to start like a jar where every time I touch my face, I like put a quarter in and then donate to charity. Um, my favorite restaurant in Cincinnati is probably the Eagle, because they have like some of the best fried chicken I've ever had. They have like this really good like sweet potato casserole and like spoon bread, and it's just like some southern ass cooking. And I grew up, West Virginia is not that southern, but my mom was from Kentucky and made a lot of like southern food, and I grew up loving it. And so I love it. Let's see. Is there going to be more Taz Dust? So here's the problem, is that when I wrote Taz Dust, I wrote it as like a mini series, and I had no idea what a wider version of the world would be. And so like I'm sure maybe someday, I just don't know what it would do. Uh let's see. You all talk so fast. What's my favorite thing to bake? I really like baking beer bread. That's probably the thing I bake the most, because beer bread is like you can alter it in a lot of different ways. Uh, so like for example, I've made beer bread before where I used like a dark chocolate stout, and I put like really bitter like dark chocolate chunks in it, and basically made like chocolate beer bread that turned out very good. But I have also made like a like rye, like not rye, like an amber ale beer bread with like some kind of sharp cheddar in it. That's very good. So I've just made a lot of different beer breads. There's a strawberry cake that my mom used to make for my birthday every year that I really like baking. Let's see. My favorite Taz character I've played. I love Aubrey. I love Nadia. Uh, who else have I played? I love Magnus so much. I don't know that I love him more, than Aubrey or Nadia or anyone else I played, but I sure do love him pretty deeply. I think just because like he's my oldest son, and so I got to spend the most time with him, and he's the one that like made me feel confident as a storyteller and kind of as an actor. Let's see. Uh, how often do I get my hair touched up? About once a month, really. Maybe less. Depend. I mean, like I always try to do it before live shows or performances, but like I don't really care about it at home. My favorite scene in UHF, Conan the Librarian. Oh, or maybe Emo Phillips when he chops off his thumb. That's pretty good. Uh, it's just a pretty great movie all around. Let's see. Advice to keep nail polish from chipping. This is a little trick I learned if you're not already doing this. When you paint, make sure you paint like the edge of the nail too, because a lot of the chipping is like it chips back. And if you can kind of get it to wrap over the edge of the nail, it'll last longer. Also, top coat. Um, do I have any more piercing? Nope, just the ears, but I'm thinking about getting up here. I haven't decided yet. You see, Sean Hunter showed up with that in like the last episode of Boy Meets World, and I just tried to do everything Sean Hunter would do. Let's see. Any funny stories between the McElroy cousins kids? I mean, right now the funniest thing is just to look at the age differences and how they interact with each other. Because right now there's Charlie, who is 5, BB, who is 3.5, Henry, who is 1 month younger than BB, Cooper, who is 2, and Baby Dot, who is 2 months old. And so, like, when the 5 of them get together, this like natural hierarchy forms in that way. And it's also just fun to watch Henry be completely overwhelmed by BB and Charlie and Cooper, because Cooper is just a tornado. She is a hoot. My favorite tattoo, my two favorite are probably these two, just because I see them the most. This is the pineapple I got from my mom when she passed away, and this is a clock. This is when BB was born. It's the time and date of BB's birth. I haven't decided what I'm going to get for Dot yet. Nothing has occurred to me quite as well. Um, let's see. Um, do 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 do. Oh, you guys are asking so great. Beard grooming tips. This is so personal. This is such a personal question. For me, I used to grow my beard out, cut it short, grow it, and I found that keeping it a little shorter works. I also have some like beard softener cream that I put in it. I also got with a shorter beard. I think this is especially important, but I got like a beard. It's basically kind of like beard. I don't. It's not like gel or pomade or whatever, but it's like a leave-in conditioner that you put in your beard, and then like you can style it a little bit. It just helps it lay flatter, and I have like a really crinkly, curly beard, so that helps. Uh, let's see. What's the most challenging part about working with family? We're all too understanding of each other, I think would be the problem. Because, like, if one of us is like, hey, I need to cancel the recording today because, my kid didn't sleep well last night, we immediately are like, yeah, totally go for it. And then we have to like work around the inconvenience later. And I think that this is a little bit like saying, oh, my greatest weakness, I guess, is that I care too much. But like, I think that we just are all we all love each other very much and we let each other off the hook for stuff like that. And it can be hard to hold us to a schedule. Um, have I been working out? Yes, I have. Um, let's see. Oh my God, you guys are asking some great question. Uh, now I'm just having fun reading your questions. Do, 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 do. Am I real? No, I'm not real. Um, Oh my God, slow down. uh, what's an item of clothing you want to wear but haven't yet? Um, it bums me out that I can't find Doc Martens in my size. Like my sister-in-law Elizabeth got these really cool, like chunky heel Doc Marten boots. for Christmas. I was like, oh shit. But then I can't find them in my size, and that bums me out. Uh I'm going to get some custom suits made, I think, for myself. And maybe I think if I ever was going to wear a dress, which I am not against, but I think I'd have to get it custom made just because like I'm so broad shouldered. I think it would be hard to find a dress that fit well and like off the rack. What did I think of the Sonic movie? I haven't seen it yet. Not that I don't want to, but like when I can't take my 3-year-old to everything, and so I have to kind of pick and choose what I go see. I only get to see about like 4 or 5 movies a year right now. Oh my god, so many questions. Oh god. Oh god. So many questions. Oh god, so many questions. But let's see. How are the dogs? The dogs are great. They get along super well. And I think the cat's starting to warm up to Lily, which is nice. And they love the kids. So there you go. I do need a moderator. It's so weird when like one will like just really pop out to me. How's the TAZ Balance TV show going? It's still very early stages. And mostly we're trying to, because we're kind of going at it the same way that we went at it for the graphic novel, which is we don't want to just adapt. We want to say, if this, instead of ever being a podcast, had started as a TV show, what would it look like? And so it's taking, we have to find that right angle. Why do I wear tinted glasses? Well, it started as a fashion thing because Jonathan Colton wears tinted glasses and I liked them, so I started wearing tinted glasses. But then I found that it helps a lot with like sensory overload sometimes, which is not always a problem for me, but if I'm somewhere where it's like lots of bright lights flashing and sounds and stuff, it can be a little much. And their prescription, I mean, I wear glasses to see. And so yeah, and I also find that especially if I've been wearing regular glasses for a while, man, I know how this sounds. But when I put on red glasses, these rose-colored glasses, it makes me a little happier. How do I stay happy? Well, I don't always is the answer to that. I am not always happy, but I work hard to rather than ignore my emotions, process them in a healthy way, to be in the moment, to try to recognize that the things I'm worried about will not always be the way that they are, that I try to find solutions to things, and the things that I cannot find solutions to, I try to let go. I've been meditating for a while. I'm also on Lexapro, and I go to therapy. So being happy is not, I would say that I am not always happy, but I work really hard to be positive. Um, let's see. Do you collect anything neat? Um, I collect lots of stuff. What else do I collect? I have lots of pairs of shoes. I like to buy cheap but fancy looking jackets on Amazon. Um, I my baby collection has increased to 2. I don't know if that counts. I have lots of memorabilia dedicated to myself. Um, let's see. Who made the beautiful finger paint art behind me? Well, that was my daughter Barbara. I got this idea is from Erica Ishii on an episode of Positivitini. She talked about having like a board of happy things. So this is like my board of happy things that has like my first San Diego Comic-Con thing when I went to the Guinness Brewery and poured a perfect pint of Guinness, and the ticket when I saw Hamilton is that at the Public. That was the first time I saw it. Yeah, lots of stuff here. My board of happiness. Y'all really want to know if Gary vapes, huh? Y'all really want to know if Gary vapes? Just because you want to know so bad. I'm not telling you. But no, he doesn't. Um, let's see. Let's see. Oh my god, so fast. It's just like speeds by. Let's see. Favorite part of working with Matt Mercer. Well, I love Matt, so that's part of it. That fool's got a great voice. He's just also a super good DM, man. He basically, this is a testament to his skill, is that he more or less played a fairly straight story with the three goobers, we're I've played D&D now with a lot of what I would call Dungeons and Dragons jocks, RPG jocks. And it is hard to keep a game on track with even one of us playing with them. Um, but all three of us playing, and he like kept it in line, which was really, really impressive. Um, okay, I'm gonna do one more question, and then it's bedtime for me. Uh, let's see. Let's see. One good one. I gotta stop touching my face. I'm just gonna let them speed by for a minute. Wait till they slow down. Nope, so fast. Okay. Okay, slow mode is on. Oh yeah. Hey, cool. Um, why do you enjoy doing these Q&As? That's a great question, Sam. I like doing these Q&As because I like learning things about people. And so I hope that people like learning things about me. It's one of my favorite things of like getting to go to conventions and having people talk to me, and it gives me a chance to do face-to-face stuff. And I like interacting with people. It's been my favorite part about the way that our career, and I say our because like the McRoy's stuff has developed, is uh we are very public facing, and I like interacting with listeners and fans and stuff, and so I like doing Q&As like this because I think it, even in these times where we should all be kind of isolated, so that we can stop the spread and flatten the curve. It's nice to still be able to have these interactions with each other so that we can still connect. And I just like it. It's very personal. I like answering questions, and basically myself is the only subject I know anything about. So answering questions about myself makes me feel very smart. So thank you all so much for watching. I will try to do more stuff and generate more content this week because I know that it can suck being stuck at home, and I want you all to have fun things to do. Take care of yourselves and stay home. Encourage others to do the same so that we can flatten the curve. And, even though you might not be sick, you might be an asymptomatic carrier, or there might be people in your life who, have immunodeficiencies, and you going out and bringing stuff home can be threatening to them, all these things. So tell everyone else to be safe and take care of themselves and all that stuff, and it'll be over eventually, and we'll all get back to partying and hugging and all that stuff. But for right now, be careful, and I love you, and take good care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you later. Have a good night. Bye.